Okay, everybody, and welcome to music production tutorial series here at ngage Music. Now, just to explain, today's lesson is about how to create MIDI tracks for chords, melody, bass, and ultimately start putting some drums behind the music as well. Now, I'm using Bandlab for Education today, and the reason I'm using Bandlab for Education is simply because this is what my students are currently using. However, everything I'm about to show you with MIDI is exactly the same in every software pretty much. The only thing you need to really be aware of is obviously the way you access MIDI on a different piece of software obviously might vary. However, I will have videos coming out on how to use Soundtrap, Bandlab as my main two, and the reason for this is because I want this series to be for people who don't actually have, who've not purchased, if you will, a DAW software, so a Bandlab or a Logic Pro, etc., so that everyone can access these courses and music production tutorials, regardless of whether they brought music production tutorial software or tutorial software, that's what I'm doing, music production or not. So, without further ado, let's get started. So first things first, when you load up Bandlab, you should see a screen like this. If you do, we're simply going to go on Instruments, okay? So we're going to select Instruments, and then here's our piano. Now, what I need to do, first of all, is go up here and double left click, and it will create my box. Now, just to confirm up here where you've got 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, these are your bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then 2, 2, 3, 4, then 3, 2, 3, 4, etc. So what I'm going to do to start with is at the bottom right, I'm going to left click and I'm going to drag this to the end of 4. So we've got 4 bars like so. Now, there's nothing in there at the minute because I've not put anything in. So I'm just going to lift this up so it's easier to see. Now, if I go to this keyboard here, I want to be, apologies guys, on C3. So if I double click, I'm going to left click here. Now it's got my note. So if I play this, it will play the note of C. Okay, nice and easy. Okay. I'm going to stretch this all the way to the end of the one there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Now you can do this in a couple of ways. The not so quick way is to go up to E to do my next chord. No, sorry. And then go up to G to do my next one. And that creates my C major chord. C, E, and G. Okay. So one thing just to mention with this is if you need to find the notes, so if I go on C major, piano, notes, you will see on here, oh, I need to put chord, my apologies. There we go, so there you go. So you can just do it that easy, it's the same with anything. So if I decide to type in A major, just for argument's sake, there you can see, it will tell you the notes. So this is the beauty of living in the modern world. You can find this information literally at the drop of a hat, okay? So if I go back, now, as you can see here, it says 1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. So what I need to do is actually stretch this chord out. So I'm going to left click and hold down, and my box starts to appear. I'm going to highlight these chords, go to the end of the first note, and then simply drag them there. Now, I want to see more, so I'm going to go and press this zoom out button here. So the way I'm going to start my chords, at least to start with, is to make it so that they last 4 beats in a bar. So 1, 2, 4, then the next one. So a quick and easy way to do this. So we're following a Roman numerals pattern. Now the most common Roman numeral patterns, at least in Western music, tend to be the 1, 5, 6, 4 progression. Now we've started on C major. So if you look at my little box here, you can see C major, G major, to A minor, to F major. If I was doing this in A major, A to E to F sharp to D. Now this pattern is one of the most common chord sequences in music. If you look at the Axis of Awesome video on YouTube, there's a fantastic video that those guys did where they ultimately showcase on that video all the different songs that use that chord progression. Another popular one is the 1-4-5. So again, C to F to G or B to E to F sharp. And again, these are just nice, simple ways. Now, one thing just to say that in music theory terms, you could go in any chord sequence you wish. And in theory, it should work. However, it might not sound like what you're used to hearing because, as I say, the most common one is the one I mentioned. So I know that the chord sequence I need is C to G first, 1 to 5, okay? So the 1 is our C, which is our root note, which is our major. We're going to go to a dominant, which is the major 5, okay, which is G. So if I just go here, the great thing about music technology is that these notes aren't going to change because they're currently in a major. So I'm just going to press and hold down my Alt, because I'm on a Mac, and it copies it. I think it might be Control or Alt, depending on what you're on. Go down to my G note, let go. Now I have C and G. Okay, not going to lie, I think that's a bit too low, so I'm going to highlight all those. I'm going to start on C4 instead. So let's do it again. It's not too bad. Okay, now the next chord in my sequence is G, sorry, I'm currently on G, so it's 6, which is an A minor. Now don't let that put you off, you're doing the same thing again. So I'm copying this, I'm going to go to A, I'm currently on G, so I'm just going one whole next step up. I take the middle note and I drop it down a semitone, and now we have an A minor. So all I did there, just to clarify, is I took the original note and dropped it down by 1. So now if I play, there you go. Okay, you're probably starting to hopefully recognise that chord pattern a little bit. Final one then, so we're on A minor, we're going to go to F major. So F major, I'm just going to copy from G because it'll be quicker. And then I'm just going to go down to F. Now, one extra thing I would say, everybody, is if your screen looks a lot closer than mine does currently, at the top right here where the 3 dots are, you've got the zoom icon. Because I'm on a Mac, an iMac, my screen's fine because it's made for this kind of thing and I've set it already up. But if you go here and zoom out to 67%, you'll see it. So now I've got that, I'm going to close this down, and this is my chord. So I'm just going to simply play this chord sequence. Apologies for getting a drink. So I'm going to now double click this. I think I've spelled that wrong. I have. Piano chords. Piano chords, okay? Now I'm going to do add track instrument again. Okay? In this video, I'm just going to show you how to do it all on piano. In the next video, I'm going to talk about changing the sounds of the instruments to ultimately create different types of genres, okay? So we're going to double click in again. Now, the big difference between creating a melody, so just to confirm, I'm going to right click at the bottom here and stretch it out to 4. What's good about looping over 4 bars is if it sounds good together, it will be good, okay? And we're going to look at how we then change this in the next video. So what I'm going to do, I want to be a bit higher up in pitch. I don't want to go crazy. Again, using your Roman numerals, the great thing about being in C major is it's all the white notes. Okay, so any note that is not white is highlighted by this sharp symbol. To a lot of people who I speak to, you mean the hashtag, sir? Okay, yes, but it's a sharp symbol in music. Okay, and then if you see this one here with the lowercase b, that is a flat symbol. All that means is, just in case you're going on these keys instead of being on a white F key for a sharp, we go to the black key, a semitone, just literally one small step to the right of it, which is the black key. And if we're on the flat, we do the exact same thing, but go to the left. Okay, the only way that's slightly different is if we're on the note of C and we want to go to back flat, it technically will go to B. Okay, because there's no black key there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now, one thing to consider when creating a melody is, if I do this, I'm going to try and just do this very quickly for you. You'll notice this goes very fast. I think that's the wrong note, it is. Okay, so if I play. Not really keen on that. If you think about most pop songs, you've got space in your melody. And the reason for that is because if you create a main melody and you want a singer to sing it, this is one of the reasons anyway, they're going to need to breathe. Okay, so we're not massively keen on that. So if we take a gap and do it again, that's not too bad, okay? So you can have bigger gaps and so on. I'm just gonna, you also, unless you're creating a disjunct melody, you don't want too many huge jumps. So I don't want to go here up to there. It's just because it might sound quite striking. It could work. Again, that's the beauty of using your ears. obviously using them to kind of decide what works. So I'm just going to quickly put this on. There we go, and then D. Okay, and then we'll just go there. So in my first 4 bars, this is my melody. Apologies if it doesn't sound very good. I'm just going to mute the piano chords for now. I think that's too many, so I'm going to get rid of that one. I think it'd be nice to mix it up, kind of like this. So let's try it again. That's a lot better. So we've got a whole gap here. I don't know why I'm pointing to the screen because you can't see me doing that, but there you go. So we've got a whole gap here. Okay, so you got 1, then the 2, then the 3. And again, it's just because it sounds much more pleasant to us. So what I'm going to do is now fill out the rest of this. Obviously, the great thing about these melodies as well is you can chop and change these as you see fit. I don't want that there, I'm on the wrong thing, my apologies. Okay, I might just to mix it up though, I'm not going to make it too predictable a melody. I'm going to have 2 notes this time in the second bar. And again, I don't want to make too many huge jumps. Again, if you think about this as a singer, it's going to sound a bit funny, a main melody, because this is what I always imagine in my head. If they're kind of jumping between a lot of notes, it does sound kind of comical. So I just want to change this. So I'm just going to quickly, like I say, I want to mix this up a little bit. So we're just adding the 2 in there. Now, if you're doing this as an exam, and you want to talk about your composition, you can obviously mention how it's good to have a gap between the notes, just, you know, because it's easier to listen to. Plus, if you was creating it as a main melody, you could obviously say that a singer's going to need a bit of breath, which obviously is important. So, and then finally, we'll go there. Now, obviously, I've not done this ahead of time, so let's see what happens. Here we go. That's pretty good. I like that. Okay. Put it with a chord. So I've muted my piano chords by pressing M. I'm going to let go of it. Nice. Right. So I'm just going to put here. It's always good to name your tracks just to make sure you know. So last 2. So next one is a bass line. Now the great thing about the bass line is you only really need to think about the root notes in the first instance, okay, especially for this. So we need to go down octave. As you can see here, we're in C5, etc. We need to be down here at C2. So all I'm going to do for this, it's a bit boring, but it's a good starting point. And again, in the next video, I'll expand upon this even further. So, C, G, A, and then finally, as you know, I'm going to go to F. Now, this could be too low. We'll see what happens when I put it in. If I just go here and type in bass line, okay, let's have a listen to it all together. There we go. Nice. See how it's starting to fill the sound out really nicely, okay? Final thing I just want to add for now is I'm just going to add a drum beat. Now, you can create your drum beat, and I'm going to show you that in the next video, but just for now, I'm going to go into Bandlab Sounds, and I'm just going to go into anywhere. In fact, I'm going to change it, because I know lo-fi better, so I'm going to go down to 92 BPM, because I know I'm about to use lo-fi soul, even though I've just changed it. Now, the great thing is, although there seems to be an error here, don't know what happened there, hang on. Seems to be an error. It's still playing it, so it's just an image issue. So if I go on to lo-fi, it's good timing because we're near the end of the video. Go on lo-fi soul. I'm just going to find a loop down here. I'll do for now. Right, so pop that in. Okay, I'm going to just lower this down to 92, as I've said. If you use a loop, it should ask, and it does adjust. Press yes, you'll see it stretches out. So here we go. So, as said, folks, for this video, I'm just going to play you the final thing. So you've got your drums, a bass line, main melody, piano chords. The next video, please click on the link below in the description. It will take you to the next video where we're talking about changing the sounds to go to different styles of music and just adding a few variants to make it a little bit more interesting. But thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, all the usual stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Here is the piece that we have created.